One of the most infamous incidents linked to Blanco was the Dadeland Mall massacre in 1979. This brazen attack, which left 2 people dead and several others injured, was a testament to Blanco's willingness to use extreme violence to protect her interests. The incident shocked the nation and drew significant attention to the growing drug problem in Miami. Griselda Blanco, the Black Widow of the Medellin Cartel. Early life and beginnings. Griselda Blanco Restrepo, born on February 15, 1943 in Cartagena, Colombia, rose to infamy as one of the most notorious figures in the history of drug trafficking. Her journey from a humble and tumultuous upbringing to becoming a key player in the Medellin Cartel is both fascinating and chilling. Blanco's early life was marked by poverty and violence. She grew up in the slums of Medellin, a city that would later become synonymous with the drug trade. From a young age, Blanco was exposed to crime and instability. Her mother, Lucia Restrepo, was reportedly abusive, and Blanco was subjected to a harsh environment. By the time she was a preteen, Blanco had already engaged in criminal activities. At the age of 11, she allegedly kidnapped a boy from a wealthy family, demanding ransom. This event foreshadowed the violent and ruthless path she would take: entry into the drug trade. In the early 1970s, Blanco moved to the United States, settling in New York City. It was here that she began to establish her foothold in the drug trade. Blanco's initial operations involved smuggling cocaine into the U.S. from Colombia, leveraging her connections in her home country. She quickly proved to be a shrewd and ruthless operator, outmaneuvering rivals and law enforcement alike. Blanco's methods were as innovative as they were brutal. She developed a sophisticated network for smuggling cocaine, using various techniques to evade detection. One of her most infamous strategies involved the use of custom-made lingerie to conceal cocaine, which was worn by female mules. This ingenuity allowed her to transport large quantities of cocaine into the U.S. with minimal risk. Rise to power. As Blanco's operations expanded, so did her reputation for violence. She was known for her willingness to eliminate anyone who stood in her way, earning her the nickname La Madrina, the godmother. Her ruthlessness was unmatched, and she instilled fear in both her associates and enemies. Blanco's rise to power was also facilitated by her strategic alliances with other key figures in the drug trade, most notably members of the Medellin Cartel. Blanco's operations reached their peak in the late 1970s and early 1980s. She controlled a significant portion of the cocaine entering the United States, and her influence extended across major cities like Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. Her wealth grew exponentially, and she enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, complete with mansions, luxury cars, and extravagant parties. The Miami drug wars. Blanco's reign coincided with the Miami drug wars, a period of intense violence and chaos in the city. The influx of cocaine into Miami led to a surge in drug-related crime, and Blanco was at the center of it all. Her operations in Miami were particularly notorious for their brutality. Blanco was believed to be responsible for hundreds of murders, many of which were carried out in broad daylight. One of the most infamous incidents linked to Blanco was the Dadeland Mall massacre in 1979. This brazen attack, which left 2 people dead and several others injured, was a testament to Blanco's willingness to use extreme violence to protect her interests. The incident shocked the nation and drew significant attention to the growing drug problem in Miami. Personal life and relationships. Blanco's personal life was as tumultuous as her criminal career. She was married 3 times, and each of her marriages ended in violence. Her first husband, Carlos Trujillo, was reportedly killed on her orders. Her second husband, Alberto Bravo, was a key partner in her drug operations until their relationship soured. In a dramatic and bloody confrontation in a Bogotá nightclub parking lot, Blanco allegedly shot and killed Bravo during an argument over missing drug money. Her third husband, Dario Sepulveda, also met a violent end. After their separation, Sepulveda fled to Colombia with their young son, Michael Corleone Blanco. Blanco, determined to regain custody of her son, orchestrated Sepulveda's murder. This ruthless act cemented her reputation as the Black Widow, a moniker reflecting her deadly disposition towards her husbands and associates. Legal troubles and downfall. Despite her cunning and ruthlessness, Blanco's criminal empire began to unravel in the mid-1980s. Law enforcement agencies, including the DEA, intensified their efforts to dismantle the Medellin Cartel and its affiliates. Blanco's violent tactics and high-profile crimes had made her a prime target for authorities. In 1985, Blanco was arrested in Irvine, California, after years of evading capture. Her arrest was a significant victory for law enforcement, but Blanco continued to exert influence from behind bars. She was initially sentenced to 20 years in prison for drug trafficking charges. However, her legal troubles were far from over. In 1994, while still in prison, Blanco was indicted for 3 murders in Miami, including the killing of her former enforcer, Johnny Castro. Prison life and release. Blanco's time in prison was marked by her continued involvement in criminal activities. Despite being incarcerated, she managed to maintain connections with her drug trafficking network. Her ability to command respect and loyalty from her associates ensured that her operations continued, albeit on a smaller scale. In 2004, after serving nearly 2 decades in prison, Blanco was released and deported to Colombia. Her release was met with mixed reactions. While some saw it as the end of an era of violence and terror, others feared that Blanco would resume her criminal activities in Colombia. However, Blanco's influence had waned considerably, and she faced numerous challenges in re-establishing her empire. Later years and death. In her later years, Blanco lived a relatively low-profile life in Medellin. She reportedly tried to distance herself from her violent past, but her notoriety made it difficult to escape the legacy of her crimes. On September 3, 2012, Griselda Blanco was gunned down by a motorcycle-riding assassin in Medellin. Her death was eerily reminiscent of the violent tactics she had employed throughout her life. Legacy Griselda Blanco's life story is a testament to the extremes of human ambition, cunning, and ruthlessness. Her rise to power in the male-dominated world of drug trafficking was unprecedented, and her reign left an indelible mark on the history of the Medellin Cartel and the global drug trade. Despite her death, Blanco's legacy lives on, both as a cautionary tale of the destructive power of the drug trade and as a figure of dark fascination in popular culture. Her story has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and films, highlighting the enduring interest in her life and crimes. Blanco's impact on the drug trade and her role in the violent history of Miami and Medellin serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of the global narcotics industry.